Some big exciting news that came out Wednesday. Television coverage for this race weekend at Circus of America, including in the United States. ESPN, they'll be airing the race. No information on which particular ESPN channel. But Ben, gotta start with you. We know fans are very excited about this. I know we've been wanting this for a long time. Next year, all the races will be televised. But do you feel the lack of coverage, especially broadcasting coverage, of their first season for F1 Academy really hurt them, considering this is their first year trying to build a fan base?
You know, Joe, it is unbelievable to me that in the year of our Lord 2023, we had a series aligned with Formula One that was not only not on broadcast television, but not streamed anywhere. You had to wait for the highlights to be posted to their YouTube channel to know what happened in these races, but beyond just seeing the results. It was mind-boggling. I mean, again, we've had this discussion on this show before about how much of an own goal this was, but on the part of Formula One to not have F1 Academy televised anywhere was just absolutely ridiculous. So I'm glad that got resolved. That not only is next season, it sounds like, going to be televised and broadcast, but we actually have some coverage for the American round here, Circuit of the Americas, and on ESPN again. Whether that's ESPN News or streaming on ESPN Plus, ESPN is such a media giant here in the United States that it is certainly going to give F1 Academy some visibility and can only help them in terms of a following and coverage this year. Because I think, to answer the question, yeah, it certainly hurt them. I know it was harder for me to keep up with it, harder for me to follow it. Not having anywhere to watch it. That's the main. How else are you going to keep up with the series? You want to be able to watch it on television, watch it all unfold as it's happening. And it was, to be frank, inexcusable that, again, in 2023, we had a series, on this level, backed by Formula One, that did not have that option. So it's again, very frustrating that we have to celebrate the fact that it's so much is going to be on television for the last round. But here we are. I'm glad that they got their act together here in time for COTA, and looking forward to checking it out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ben here. Having to just watch the race highlights afterwards is like, I'm going to make an analogy here, but I'm also a big soccer fan. So it's like having to watch any of the big World Cup, games after it happens, which, what's the point of watching that when you already have the results, you already know who's won. There's no really point in watching the highlights. But the fact that they were trying to grow their base, trying to grow their viewership, and didn't have their races broadcasted live, that's a big, that's not great, looking great for them. But I'm so glad that they're finally going to be broadcasting it live on ESPN. That's definitely going to help them in, making the Formula One Academy more well-known and growing their viewership, growing their fan base. It's going to definitely help with all of those things. But I think this step should have definitely been taken earlier, as Ben mentioned.
Yeah, well, Esha, if I could just bounce off of that, because I've been, I've really been getting into soccer over the last couple of years myself, but I still remember that rant that then ESPN analyst, now Apple TV analyst Taylor Twellman went on when the U.S. failed to qualify for the World Cup in 2017. It was on SportsCenter. It was on ESPN News, which you may think of as like a third or fourth tier cable channel, but it's still a part of the ESPN family. And again, just having that name recognition, that was a viral moment that was able to take off and be seen by a lot of people, despite the fact that it was on, again, ESPN's fourth tier cable channel. So whatever part of ESPN it's airing on here, it is a fantastic platform for this series to be on, especially considering ESPN has the television rights to Formula One itself here in the United States. I'm looking forward to seeing, the coverage and what comes of that, and then obviously what we get to see in 2024 as well.